The second run play from the single back A slot formation that we use is the stretch alert bubble. Now, unfortunately, they decided that there was going to be no stretch play without a RPO in it for this formation, so we can no longer flip this run to the other side. We're going to come out in this run, and the times that you're really going to let this stretch run with no motion is really going to be when they're in a heavier set with man coverage. The reason for that being is they're not going to be baseline, so the outside right will have some vulnerabilities. Now you can run this stock, but you're probably going to have to cut that back up in the middle if there's a overhang defender on the outside like there is in this formation. And what I mean by overhang defender is row is the extra guy that can come free off the edge because this outside linebacker and this defensive end are taking up this tackle and tight end. So if I were to see this look, I've got two options. Okay, I can motion either the tight end from this side over to this side, which is totally fine, but it's also very obvious that you're going to run the stretch. Most savvy opponents are going to adjust once they see that and start shifting guys out there. Or what you can do, and since we use this motion for some of our passing plays, we can motion this receiver over. And even though he turns into a hitch, if you snap the ball right here, you have to wait for a second on the set, he will turn into a block. So that ends up being basically single back ace stretch. Now, like I said, you can't send this to the other side, which is a bit frustrating. You also cannot motion the bubble screen receiver. It has to be the outside receiver on the left. So this isn't a run that I typically live on in this formation because I don't think it's that great. I stick with the dive. But if you can tell that by your opponent's alignment that there's just not enough guys on the right side of the field, definitely go ahead and mix this play call in. If you have an agile back, for instance, I use Reggie Bush, you can really take this one to the outside. Well, not in that example because they didn't do a good job of sealing the edge there, and juke back inside. And Ronald Jones really isn't the best guy to do that with. But since I use a guy like Reggie Bush, I find it successful. The other spot where this play is actually pretty good is in the red zone. Typically, people will come out in a heavier defense, and I'm going to audible out of man coverage because a lot of times people go into like a cover 3 or a cover 4 in the red zone. And that's when you can actually start to utilize that RPO and feel pretty good about it. As long as you get a block out there, which Mike Evans decided not to block right there, you can sneak this one in. You definitely don't want to try to overuse this RPO throw. This is something you probably want to mix in maybe once or twice a game. But just know that you have that in your back pocket when you get to the red zone. It's definitely a useful tool for getting to those short yardage situations and into the end zone.